You know, they call these a cold open, but we're so close to game day that I'm fired up.
That was gross.
That's called irony. Let's get into it.
It's Wednesday. Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, guys. We are coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I apologize for my lovely co-host here, Erik Ruby. Must have had something going on ahead of showtime for all of that. What did I do? I'm Anthony Totri, this guy right here. That is the sailor known as Erik Ruby. We've got Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, also known as Kyle. He is making all of the magic happen. Do us a solid. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We have a ton to get into today. We've got our predictions for Arizona State's first road matchup of the season on the road, taking on the Texas State Bobcats. We have obviously got some sound from Texas State head coach G.J. Kinne. Some interesting things about Arizona State, about Kenny Dillingham, and about Sam Leavitt as well. We've got heat index, some players that need to go out there and make some noise for ASU to start the season 3-0, matching their season win total from a year ago. But we are going to start things off with our favorite segment. We've got Fact or Cap, brought to you by Branded Bills. Elevate your brand with Branded Bills, the perfect headwear and apparel. Use that code PHNX for 20% off your first order. Erik, we are just we're diving. We're diving straight into it. Let's just do it, man.
Sure.
Why mess around?
I'm not messing around.
Let's get into it.
It's almost game day. Are you
kidding me? It's almost game day. I'm ready.
We're there.
We're there. I'm juiced up. Everybody in the chat's juiced up. We got Sharon, we got Daniel, we got Cade. Buckle up. Let's have some fun. Fact or cap, Erik? Sam Leavitt needs to have a big game for Arizona State to win.
That's big cap.
Big cap.
Big cap. Needs. No.
Needs.
They need.
Necesito.
In order to win, they need Cam Scadaboo to have a big game. In order to win. Now, in order to dominate, in order to blow the doors off Texas State, you need Sam Leavitt to have a big game.
But you don't need him to have a big game to win.
Define big game.
200.
He can't suck.
250 total yards.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Really?
You don't need that to win this game. Not this game. No.
You really don't think that Texas State is much, do you?
No, whoa. That's not those things.
That's what it sounds
those
like.
Things are not the same.
That's what
those
it sounds
things are
like.
not the same. First of all, I do think ASU is a better team than Texas State. I don't think there's any way to get that mixed up. Okay, ASU is a better team than Texas State. Texas State has not played anywhere close to the level of competition like Arizona State is. They've played Lamar, they've played UTSA. And granted, they blew out UTSA, but they only won by 7 against Lamar. I think this is a team that ASU needs to watch out for. I think this is a team that can beat, has the facilities to beat ASU. But I don't think this is a team that's going to need top-tier performances from so many people in order for ASU to win. Your defense is probably the most important thing in this game. You need to lock down. You need to not let them get in the rhythm. Yeah. And then Cam Scadaboo is the most important on offense. And I think in order for, people to feel more comfortable with this team, in order for this team to absolutely blow out Texas State, and in order for the momentum to really be riding high into the beginning of Big 12 play against Texas Tech, then yes, you need Sam Leavitt to have a big game. But just to win, just purely a win, 1 point's a win, you don't need 250 all-purpose from Sam.
Interesting.
It would be nice. I would prefer that.
I think he needs to have a big game.
You think he needs to?
I think
you think there's no chance they win if he doesn't have a big game?
I don't think
that's what
I'm
the
not going to
question
say
is.
There's no chance.
But that's what it is. That's the question.
I mean, anything can happen. But yeah, I think for Arizona State to come out there and have a win, you're going up against a team that is understands what you are built on, right? You are built on the ground game. Not to necessarily say that Mississippi State didn't understand that, but they disrespected it a little bit, right? Running a 3-man front at different times throughout that week 2 game against Arizona State, and Scat and company obviously had themselves a massive game. You're not surprising anybody anymore.
Sure.
Right? Like, clearly going against an SEC team, I don't care who it is, running a 3-man front, not going to work against Cam Scatterbo and this offensive line. And that was proven in week 2. Texas State's going to load the box. They're going to try and take away the run. I'm not saying that they're going to be entirely effective in that, but odds are that's how they are going to start this football game. Sam Leavitt needs to come out hot. He needs to be able to be a dual threat quarterback, which we know he can be. I'll take 50 yards on the ground and 200 passing yards. I think that gets it done.
Yeah, okay.
But I think that's a big game in respect to what we've seen from him through 2 weeks.
That is a big game, and that would be great, and that would make it a lot easier for them to win. And for them to win, that would help quite a bit. Like, that's where we're getting things kind of a little bit like topsy-turvy over here, man.
We're not getting things topsy-turvy.
I think we are.
I think you are.
Is it a necessity?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Why do you think it's not?
Because you have all these other weapons.
But how do you get the weapons in their hands?
You beat Mississippi State without Sam putting up. Did he even put up 150 all-purpose?
Maybe.
I don't think he did.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
And this isn't me like
I think he did actually.
Let me look it up.
Because he rushed. He was the second leading rusher in that game.
Yeah, but that was only like
60
something yards.
That's only 60 something rush yards for a quarterback.
But when we're talking 150, give me a second. Give me a second.
He definitely had 150 total yards in that game. There's zero shot that he didn't.
He had 69 yards passing.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Ugh. That's not ideal.
And they beat Mississippi State. Look, man.
Because they ran the ball 50 times.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
you could do that against.
But you're not hearing me. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
You.
No, I'm saying that we're
supposed to be on the same side.
No, we don't have to be.
No, I'm kidding.
They ran the ball that often because they believed, Mississippi State being the they, that they could run a lesser front and sit in coverage, and that their defensive line and linebackers on the interior would be able to contain Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah.
They didn't adjust that.
I know.
And so Arizona State proceeded to run the ball. What I am saying is that Texas State is not going to allow you to do that.
Yeah, they're also not as talented defensively as Mississippi State is.
No, but let's play the numbers game. If you're loading the box, you've got at least 1 to 2 extra guys in there than you are bringing out in your offensive line because you have receivers split out wide. Your quarterback's not blocking when he's turning around handing the football. The defensive line, the front 7, will have more guys than Arizona State will have to block.
If you define big game as 250 all-purpose yards, I don't think he needs to get that.
Big game in respect to what we've seen from 10.
But that's what I'm saying is he had 69 yards passing and 68 yards on the ground against Mississippi State, and you won, right? And I get everything that you're saying about how Mississippi State played and why they went through camp for all of that as well. I get it. I understand that. I'm not getting what you're saying, right? But what I'm saying is who they are playing tomorrow is not the type of team that if you, let's say you get 100 yards passing from Sam.
It's not enough.
And 50 to 60 on the ground.
Not enough.
It depends on what Scat does.
Not necessarily, because this is a team in Texas State that does what? They put the ball in the end zone, and I get that they played Lamar. I get that they played UTSA.
Is more important. I don't think Sam is. I think Sam is in the top 3. I think he's third. I think overall defense, run game, as in Cam Scatterbo, and then Sam Leavitt comes in. And if you're third, I don't think you need to have 200 or 250 all-purpose yards in order for you to win this game. In order for them to blow out, in order for them to dominate, in order for them to walk out the way that they should. Which is, dang, we were just a better team, and on the short week, we came in and we handled business easily, then yeah, Sam needs to do that. But to walk away with a win, simply a win, a 1-point victory, you need your defense to lock down. That is number 1. And then you need Cam Scatterbo to be Cam Scatterbo. That's number 2. Leavitt comes in at 3. He does not need to have a big game for them to win. He needs to have a big game for them to make a statement. That's the difference.
I disagree.
Okay.
Glenn in the chat. Totri, get a fade. Looks clean. Appreciate you. Yes. Shout out my barber, Leo. I love that guy.
Glenn's saying I'm scrambling. I'm certainly not scrambling.
Were you scrambling?
I'm certainly not scrambling.
Got you on the pan like some eggs, buddy.
Yeah,
That's what's happening.
I don't think so.
Over here. Look, I'm not going to say we definitely think that he needs to have a big game. I think he needs to have a big game.
I think he needs to have a good game.
You would like to see it.
I think he needs to have a good game.
A good
He
game,
can't be
not a
bad.
big game.
I think
Okay, what's a good game?
He needs to have a better game.
What's a good game?
A good game is a better game than Mississippi State.
Give me numbers.
Give me 100-something yards through the air. Give me 150.
150 through the air.
150. 1 to 150 in the air, and I don't need you to run as much. I know that he had to run a lot against Mississippi State. I'm more focused on the passing game from him because I know he can run. But give me let's say 115, 120 in the air, and give me like 20 to 35 rushing yards, just a couple big plays, a couple first downs. That's a good game. That's a good game. That's all they need.
I mean, Sharp us in the chat. He's with you. He said he's with you.
It's not like they're facing, and this is not me disrespecting Texas State. I've said multiple times, Texas State can beat Arizona State.
Nate brings up, go ahead, sorry, I'll let you finish.
I'm just saying, like, Texas State can beat Arizona State. That's completely on the table. That is possible. I don't think it'll happen, but it's possible. Okay, if they were playing, since they looked bad last week, if they're playing Kansas, if they're playing Kansas State, if they're playing Utah, right? If they're playing a team that's really good, or at least at the top of the Big 12, like an Oklahoma State. Yeah, you need Sam Leavitt to have a big game. You need that.
Yeah.
You don't need that against Texas State.
Okay. Casey in the chat, 150 in the air, 40 on the ground. That's a good game.
That's about what you said, about 200-ish all-purpose.
I need 250.
You need 250?
I need 250.
Yeah, dude, if he gets 200, I'm fine.
Okay, that's fair. Nate in the chat, this game defines us as a team. If Leavitt balls out, then we are a dangerous team, ready to, if you could scroll,
ready to go.
Ready to go, compete.
Ready to compete in the big.
I think this game does define you a little bit.
I don't disagree, but that's a completely different question, right? Define is completely different. Sure, they go out in this game and Sam Leavitt tears it up, 250 all-purpose or more, right? He looks like he is in control. He's on the road. He steps in and he just absolutely deals through the air on the ground, right? Where you're not reliant on Cam and you're not reliant on this defense to shut down as much. And it's more like, hey, wow, Sam Leavitt powered us to that victory. Different. Like, that's a different story. That is a season-defining moment. That is a moment that helps ASU fans buy in. As Cade says, make no mistake, ASU fans need Sam Leavitt to have a great game so that we ASU fans can get even more hyped. Yeah, that's all true. Like I said, in order to dominate, in order to be a team like we have been talking about them, that is a shock in the Big 12, that could be receiving top 25 votes by the Texas Tech game, they need to dominate this game. And for that to happen, they need 250 plus from Sam.
Do you think he has a big game? That's a little bit tougher question.
That is a tougher question.
Okay, well,
my heart says yes, but I feel like we're going to get a step. I feel like 250 plus is a big step. I think we're going to get closer to that 200 range. I think we're going to see a much better game from him passing and a little bit less he had 11 carries against Mississippi State. You're going to see that, I think, roll back a little bit.
I guess we'll find out.
I mean, listen, get me excited, man.
Stop banging the table.
No. You're Mr. Bang the Table.
I'm not Mr. Okay, you need to calm down. Okay, look, we've obviously talked a lot about Sam Leavitt. Texas State, up to this point, has not faced a quarterback with the talent level that Sam Leavitt possesses. Texas State head coach G.J. Kinne was asked at his press conference earlier in the week just about Sam Leavitt and what makes him a little bit of a dangerous quarterback. This was his answer.
That guy right there, their quarterback, is special. You know, he's a young guy and all that, but you can just tell he's really well coached. He's got a lot of talent, probably the most talented quarterback we'll play all year. And I mean, he will be the most talented quarterback we'll play all year. He's got a big arm. He's slippery. He can run. So he's the real deal. He's the real deal. And and obviously, I think everything it starts with the running back. But you know, people talk about the past stats. Well, look how well they run the ball. Well, why throw it when you can run it? You know, so.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Why throw when you can run it?
Yeah, but that goes to show they understand. They're well prepared for 4.
Yeah,
but what you're saying, I think, is like it doesn't matter if they're prepared.
I don't think. I think it matters in the sense where it's an obstacle for him to overcome. But I don't think it matters in the sense that it's going to stop Cam Skattebo. No, I mean, I'm sorry. If you were to tell me this,
I'm not saying it's going to stop. I'm not saying it's going to stop
Texas State. I think you're crazy.
I'm not going to say it stops. Okay, I don't believe that defense is really anything special. I'll be honest. I think the offense is more what worries me in this game, and I'm talking about the Texas State offense. I'm not concerned about the defense. What I'm saying is this is a team in Texas State that scores at will. If they
at will against Lamar and UTSA.
I understand that, but I'm saying that again for this is the best offense to this point that Arizona State has faced defensively. I'm not assuming that they are going to crumble. What I am saying is if this is a game that turns into a dogfight and that goes, it's completely through the air, right? And these two teams are just trading blows. At a certain point, Sam Leavitt is going to have to put his big boy pants on, and he's going to have to be QB1. And I'm not saying that he hasn't done it up to this point, right? The team hasn't needed him to go out there and be dominant. They had their way with Wyoming, won by 41 points. You go to Mississippi State, you get to an early lead. An idiot for a coach would start throwing the football a ton when you're up 27 points, right? So they handed it off. They ran the football. Sam wasn't able to get in too much of a rhythm, and that's not really anybody's like entirely like their fault, right? That's just kind of the way that the game played out. I'm saying in this case, it's going to be, I think, a little bit more back and forth than people think it's going to be. I think there's people that are sleeping on this Texas State offense, whether that be Jordan McLeod, whether that be their running back, Ishmael Hadi, or Mahdi. Like, if it turns into the fourth quarter and Arizona State finds themselves down 7 and they need to go score points, you can only run the ball so much before it starts burning valuable clock. And Arizona State hasn't found themselves in that position yet.
Right.
But if they do, which I think there will be a moment in this game where Arizona State needs to step on the gas, then you turn to Sam.
I think you need, again, I don't think you win with a bad game from him, right? You definitely need him to have a better game than against Mississippi State because you do need to have that extra element in your offense. You need to be able to roll out and pass. You need to be able to keep them on their toes, right? And granted, I don't think that it's unfair to talk about the level of competition in the first two games where you're talking about a Lamar team where they gave up 27 to Lamar and only put up 34, right? And then UTSA, they absolutely dominated, 49-10, sure. And UTSA has been a good football program, but that was not a good football team that they beat. As far as relative for UTSA, not like good as in like really good. But you know what I mean? However, even though they have the number one rushing defense in their conference right now, they have not faced, let alone Cam Scatteraboo, but a room like this.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just Cam. It starts with Cam, but it doesn't end with Cam. Right? And even with Sam, I don't think you need him to go out and just nail a deep shot to Jake Smith. Right? I don't think you need that. I think you want that. Right? You want to see that. All you need from him is, pick up yards when you need to on your feet, hit these short to medium range passes, like just give a little screen to Cam, dump it off to DeCarlos. Dump it off to Kyson. Let them make a play. It's not a necessity for ASU to play a perfect game to win this game. I understand that you have this respect for Texas State. I have respect for them as well, and especially on their offense. I think they have a couple pretty big playmakers. But I also think that this defense is definitely good enough to contain them. Like, there's not a single player on this team that's as good as Kevin Coleman. On Texas State's offense, there's not a single player as good as Kevin Coleman.
You believe that?
Yeah.
Okay. I disagree with you.
You think Ishmael?
I think Ishmael is better than Kevin Coleman. Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, I think he's the best running back that they faced, bar none.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that defensive line is a room that, out of all the rooms, is dealing with the most injuries as well. So I think that's definitely a big key to this game as well. But I'm not going to say I'm not worried. I'm just on my toes. But, it's not just the fact that Texas State is a talented team, but it's like what you said, they're prepared and they respect ASU.
Yeah. I mean, this is a team in Texas State that certainly respects Arizona State in more than one way, right? It's not just Cam Scatteraboo. It's not just the defense. It's the team as a whole. And GJ Kinne brought up his respect for Arizona State at his press conference just the other day.
Have a tremendous amount of respect for Coach Dillingham and their staff and kind of what they're about. And you can see on film the buy-in. They play with great energy, great effort. They've dominated for most of the two games. They've dominated almost every second of that game. So really good opponent that's coming here. Love the challenge. You got a Big 12 opponent coming to Texas. They recruit Texas like their hair's on fire, and they're going to be fired up. And it's a big game for them in the big picture as far as Big 12 and playoffs and all that. So we're just going out there playing. We got nothing to lose, going out there and cutting it loose.
Okay, you could look at two different things here, right? You can look at the fact that he said we have nothing to lose. This is a big game for us, But also something else that he said was, well, this is a massive game for ASU.
Mm-hmm.
The Texas to Tempe thing is no joke.
Correct.
Absolutely no joke. And not only is this a big deal for playing in the state of Texas, and I'm sure there will be some recruits there or somebody there watching. Same thing when you take on Texas Tech. But also for the players on your roster that are from Texas, maybe not specifically from San Marcos,
That's a good point.
but from Texas, and they're going to show up. And you know what they're going to want to do? They're going to want to show out, right? Again, this is not a team that's just like, oh, we are so good and we're resting on our laurels because everybody believes in us. No, they
Who on
still
the
have
team
that.
talks like that?
Anyways, they still have like this chip on their shoulder and this desire to prove it. And I think that is what is that driving force behind me feeling like as good as Texas State can be, it's not going to be enough because ASU will not just let them slip by.
No, they won't just let them slip by, I don't think, in any means, right? Again, this is a team that is well coached in Arizona State with Kinne Dillingham. One thing that I think people forget, right, is Kinne is in year 2. This team won 3 games last year. So what does that mean? Kinne's only won 1 road game in his entire head coaching career.
Crazy.
So this is a big game. This is a big game for this team. This is a big game for Kinne. This is a big game for recruiting. So there's a lot on the line here. I think there's a lot of people that are getting ready for this Thursday night matchup. And this is going to be the telltale sign if Arizona State is ready. Are they as real as they've showed in the first 2 weeks of the season? Or is this just a team that, similar to Texas State, hasn't really played anybody in the Power 4, right? Like, that's something that I think a lot of people are going to be interested to see. I saw an absolutely crazy stat from the Arizona State game notes that was sent out just the other day. There are 4 teams in the FBS, in the Power 4, that have played FBS teams, scored 30-plus points, and held their opponent to 25 or less.
Let me guess.
4 teams in the nation.
Arizona State. LSU?
Nope.
Is this going to be 3 random teams that I have no clue?
No, these are all really good teams.
Georgia?
Nope.
Alabama?
Yep. 2 others that are likely college football playoff teams.
I don't know why Miami is coming to mind.
No,
They've had some dominant
not Miami.
wins. They've had some dominant wins. Who?
Ohio State
Okay, yeah.
and Texas.
Yeah.
Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, and your Arizona State Sun Devils are the only teams in the FBS that have done that up to this point. And I get it's only through 2 weeks. You have to go out there on Thursday and you have to prove that this isn't a fluke.
Right, yeah.
And I know it's against Texas State. And for college football casuals, Texas State is, it's Texas State. They're in the Sun Belt. This is a team. GJ Kinne is building something. He is one of the youngest coaches in college football, similar to Kinne. It's a good team on Texas State. And again, Arizona State is a good team. I believe this is a good team. Okay? Take my word for it. Take Erik's word for it. Take Captain Redbeard's word for it. Or take Texas State coach GJ Kinne's words for it. Arizona State is a good football team.
Yeah, I think it starts with the physicality and the running back. Scatterbo, unfortunately, it's my second time playing him. He was at Sac State, and we played him at UIW. And as soon as he entered the portal, I offered him. I had to have been his first offer. I mean, I think the world of that guy and the way he plays the game, and tremendous balance and power. And you can tell he's been in a big time weight program and nutrition program now. I mean, he's definitely changed his body, and he didn't look tired at all. Against Mississippi State, he carried the ball a lot and didn't look tired at all. So he'll be ready to go, and he's big time.
So his whole answer was just Cam Scatterbo.
Cam Scatterbo and the physicality of this team.
Right.
As a whole. Right. And that's not just Scat. Yes, Scat lowers his shoulder and delivers blow after blow after blow, but defensively, in the trenches, up front at the offensive line, and really on the perimeter at wide receiver too, with Jordan Tyson, Jake Smith, Melquan Stovall, Xavier Guillory, some of the best pass blocking wide receivers in the conference. Right. And it's really part of the buy-in, part of the culture. If you go back and you look at Kenny Dillingham's teams where he was offensive coordinator at Oregon, at Florida State, at Memphis, those teams were physical teams. Like, they brought it to you. They dictated how the game was going to go based off of their energy, based off of the physical play that they brought it every single game. And now you're on the road and you have to bring that same level of physicality. Otherwise, the opposing crowd is going to be massive. This is their toughest game of the schedule. It's their best opponent that Texas State is going to see all season long. It's the best quarterback they're going to see all season long. It's the best running back they're going to see all season long. It's the best coach they're going to see all season long. And this is a guy in GJ that understands that. So this isn't a team that Texas State that you're going to see, you're going to catch them slipping at all. They're going to pull out every stop that they possibly have to go out there Thursday night, and they're going to go win their Super Bowl. That's what their intention is.
Yeah. And listen, I feel like we could say the same thing like a bunch of different ways. I see how Texas State could win. I see how Texas State could lose, and I see that losing side a lot easier, right? And it's no disrespect to them, but like ASU loses because they beat themselves here. That's it.
Not because Texas State's better.
No, Texas State's not better.
I agree with you.
Right, but it's like they're not better. Again, the better team doesn't always win. Yeah. That's not how this works, right? And you're on the road and you're facing a team that is right in that sweet spot of we're better than you, but you can still certainly beat us, right? Keep you on your toes just enough. In my estimation, the perfect week 3 opponent, because you also have a big hurdle to overcome short week on the road. Right. And again, you are their Super Bowl. Cam Scadaboo is probably the best player that they're going to play for the entire season.
Not even probably. He is.
And that's where it comes to, yeah, you can game plan for it all you want. But when it comes to just one-on-one, one-on-two, are you better? Can you take him down? Can you stop him?
We'll find out.
You can load the box, right? You can try to stop him all you want. He's just going to go right outside and catch a pass and probably take it for another 10. That's what should happen. I'm not guaranteeing that's going to happen. That's what should happen. ASU should win this game. Not like easily, but it shouldn't be like a 1-point game. It shouldn't.
Okay. We'll find out, won't we?
I mean, I'm excited. I hope we find out.
We've got some players that need to go out there and have some big games that we'll get into here in a second. But we are going to take just a quick break to tell you about our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Guys, one thing to keep in mind at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, nobody does it better. You can visit any of their 4 locations. My personal favorite is Wild Horse Pass. Obviously, we had our fantasy football draft out there. I know a ton of PHNX peeps stayed out there the entire night for the draft, and then after the draft, had some fun, obviously, at the sports book, at the casino. It was an absolute baller time. And if you guys want to have a fantastic, maybe little staycation where you can make some money, definitely head out to Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Go all in with over 4,500 slots and live table games, or catch all the action at any of their sports books. Go big or go home a winner. Look, they've got tons of dining options. It's an absolute blast. Not to mention, we're going to be hosting events there all year, including Cards and Sons watch parties. It is going to be a ton of fun. So definitely stay tuned for more info on how you can come hang with us. Remember, you do you at Gila River Resorts Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
You know I'm rocking my Shady Rays. You know Anthony Totri's rocking his Shady Rays.
Yes,
and you can't see it behind the Mac, but we also have Kyle rocking some Shady Rays as well. Sorry, Captain Redbeard.
Captain Redbeard. There you go.
We are like the Shady Rays show because we wear our Shady Rays on basically every single show, and I can tell you why. They are world-class independent sunglasses that have hundreds of styles to choose from. They're polarized. They have crystal clear optics. They have durable frames. And if you don't want to trust us, which I mean, look at us. I get it. Maybe you don't want to trust us.
Whoa.
You can trust over 300,000 people who have rated it 5 stars. And by over, that number continues to go up because the 300,000 is a number we've been using for a while. And people have not stopped pouring in those 5-star reviews. I usually break my sunglasses. I have not broken these pairs of Shady Rays. These have been lasting me for a very long time. And guess what? If you want to get a new pair of sunglasses, you can get it on the cheap because exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Guys, if you're in the chat, do us a solid. Drop the name of an Arizona State player that you think needs to go out there tomorrow night and have a big game for the Sun Devils to come out on top. While you do that, let's go ahead. Let's get into our heat index for Arizona State's Week 3 matchup. If you're new here, 3 players that we believe Arizona State need to get activated to have a big game, ultimately turn in a win and start 3-0 this season. So first player that we've got on our heat index this week, got DeCarlos Brooks. I understand that there's a lot of people, and rightfully so, giving love to Cam Scatterbo. I think Scat is going to do what Scat does. He always gets his. For me, though, DeCarlos Brooks, a great change of pace running back for Arizona State. Raleek Brown still on that depth chart, listed as injured. I don't expect to see him, but you never really know. DeCarlos Brooks, however, he's proven through the first 2 weeks of the season he can provide a spark to this team. And my goodness, if he goes out there, he has a big evening. Ultimately, that means that Arizona State, I think, is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I think DeCarlos is a fantastic call because you're right. Cam is usually going to get what Cam gets. And what happens around him is going to be really important, especially against a team that's going to be looking to stop the run. And you don't want to just throw Cam in there to the fire every single play, every single possession, when there's 5-6 guys just piling on top of him every single time he touches the ball. You're going to throw Kyson Brown in there, but you're also going to throw DeCarlos Brooks in there. Yeah. And I've said this to you multiple times. I've said this on the show multiple times. He's like the perfect counter second to Scat. So I think that's a great call. I'm all for it. I'm all for DeCarlos Brooks.
Sharon in the chat, can I list the entire defense? I see some people in the chat saying Jordan Tyson needs to have a big game. Somebody earlier said Sam Leavitt needs to have a big game. Dallas says Cyrus Fiaseu needs to have a big game. David Green saying Clayton Smith. Any of those names jump out to you?
I think Clayton Smith had a really good game against Mississippi State. That would be great. Cyrus, obviously not as big of a game as game 1 when he had the exclamation point to start the season. Zach says DBs need to have a big game. Yeah, I'm especially with McLeod and some shifty, small, wide receiver threats. Definitely need your DBs to step up and show that they can contain against some more speed instead of power, because that is what burdened them against Mississippi State, was that speed. So I think they're all good names. I think you need your offensive line to dominate.
I mean, they are all good names.
I mean, yeah, they are all good names. I think you need a lot of people to step up, and I know who our next 2 players are, so I'll just throw out one that we don't have. I think you just need the offensive line, period. Right? Obviously, it starts with Leaf, but everybody, you just need to dominate in the trenches because they are going to stack the box. They are going to make it hard to run. And Glenn says in the chat, our running game goes as Leaf goes. You need to make room. You need to make pockets for these running backs to get through and give Sam a couple seconds to actually throw the ball if he needs to, considering how much pressure he's going to be under.
No, I totally agree. Next player on our heat index that we believe needs to have a big game, that is defensive tackle CJ Fight. CJ Fight needs to have a big game for a number of reasons. I'm going to start with the fact that Texas State running back Ishmael Mahdi, again, is better than I think a lot of people give him credit for. I think he could be a powerful running back. I think he could be a pretty solid running back in the Big 12, and that is the conference of running backs as it stands right now. So CJ Fight, obviously in the interior of this Arizona State defense, he's going to play a big role in being able to, I would say, contain Ishmael, but also be able to really lock in with some of these Texas State offensive linemen so that the guys in the second level, Keyshawn Elliott, Cyrus Fiaseu, with Jordan Crook, they can fill those gaps and they can do what they need to do. So I think he's going to play a big role and needs to have a big game in that respect, but also kind of what you brought up earlier in terms of Texas recruiting and all that stuff. CJ Fight's a Texas kid, played high school football in Texas, family obviously from Texas.
I think somebody said in the chat that his family went to Texas State.
Yeah.
His whole family's Texas State alumni.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, there's a big game for CJ Fight, a number of different reasons. And even more so than just the roster, right? Just what this means for Arizona State. Like you said, like those Texas kids want to go out there. They want to show up. They want to show out. And if you can have Mr. Texas himself, CJ Fight, go do that on Thursday night, I think things go really well for the Sun Devils.
Yeah. You need to have somebody stop their run.
Yeah.
Especially if they get out to an early lead or they put up points early, they're going to want to run the ball, and they're going to run the ball a lot. Yeah. You need to make them not comfortable doing that, and CJ Fight is an absolutely massive part of that.
And you need to absolutely make sure that Jordan McLeod is uncomfortable, right, in that pocket. Something that CJ Fight really talked about all offseason. He did it here on the PHNX Sun Devils show with us, was he has been really, really trying to hone in on being able to rush the passer, right? And that is something that is so rare for interior defensive linemen to be able to do at this level. Defensive tackles that can rush the passer at this level usually go pro, right? So if you're able to get Jordan McLeod just moving around the pocket, can't let him get comfy. I know that's cliche, can't let him get in a rhythm, but that is the fact of the matter, right? Is if you're able to push the pocket, get him under pressure early, it's going to start with CJ Fight. Yes, people want to talk about the edge rushers and Clayton Smith and Elijah O'Neal and Roman Petrie, and that's true, right? A lot of that does fall on them. But being able, people, I don't think, truly grasp what an interior pass rush does in terms of just collapsing the pocket, right? When you have guys on the outside, right, a Clayton Smith coming off the edge, usually quarterbacks are able to step up in the pocket, right? Give them a couple extra seconds. It makes life incredibly difficult if you're able to push the interior, those A and B gaps, and then the quarterback has to really scramble outside and make something out of nothing time and time again. So I would say CJ Fight needs to have a big game. The final player on our Heat Index, none other than QB1, Sam Leavitt. I'm going to take all the credit for this one. I know you don't think that he needs to have a big game, but I do. I do think Sam Leavitt needs to go out there, be QB1, and show, whether it be Texas State or show the Arizona State fan base that, hey, I get we're a run team. I get we are going to live and die by Cam Scatterbo. I get that our defense brings it night in, night out, one of the best units in the conference. Go show the fan base that when they need you, you're QB1. You could be something that they haven't had consistently for some time.
Yeah, I've long said and stood on the fact that in order for ASU to win this game, they need Sam Leavitt to have a big game. I've never wavered from that opinion.
Not a single time.
And, you know, I remember talking to you before the show. I think you took that from me. But listen, you want to see him have a fantastic game. You need him to have a good game. That's where I stand.
What do you think, Senor Redbeard? I need to hear from you.
It doesn't have to be a great game, but I kind of agree with Totri. He's got to, put up 200 plus yards on the ground or in the air in order for Arizona State to succeed, because this could be a close game. So Sam Leavitt needs to ball out.
Yeah, I see. He agrees with me.
I mean, he rode that fence so nice. he rode that fence real good.
That's fair. Mark in the chat's been saying a lot about Xavier Guillory. The passing game is going to click. The run game needs balance, and Xavier Guillory must be involved. He's the best deep threat on the team, yet he hasn't seen a deep target all season long. He does have wheels, Xavier Guillory. He does have a great build. I would love to see it. I think Xavier Guillory, again, still kind of looking for that bounce back game from last season. This could certainly be an opportunity, especially with, I think, what is a liability for this Texas State defense in that secondary. Which, again, right, that plays into the fact that I think Sam Leavitt needs to have a big game. Is the safeties and the corners.
A good game or a big game?
A big game.
Okay.
A big game.
I just want to make sure.
A big, juicy game. That's what I need from Sam Leavitt, because this secondary it's kind of mid. It's kind of mid. And if you can't succeed against a mid secondary in Texas State with Jordan Tyson, Shimon Matire, Jake Smith, Xavier Guillory, Malik McClain, the list goes on and on, then when you get to Big 12 play, outside of like a Texas Tech, which they just run 7-on-7 out there. They don't really have a defense.
Texas State says, would you like 7 points?
Yeah, no, yeah. Texas
would you
Tech,
like 7-on-7 is just how many times you're scoring.
Yeah, Texas Tech doesn't play a whole lot of defense. So again, you're not going to face much worse secondaries this season than Texas State. So go ball out.
Yeah, I would love to see.
Give me 300.
Oh,
give me 300 through the air.
I would do a backflip. I mean,
are you saying that right now?
No, I can't do a backflip.
Yes, Bobcat Key Bumps. Your secondary is mid. The mid cats.
Bobcat Key Bumps in the chat has come in.
It's a crazy name.
It's a crazy name. He's come in just spitting some fire. I'm interested in your score prediction. I think you said that they're going to put up 90 on ASU. So I'd like a legitimate score prediction from you, Bobcat Key Bump. Short Bus says, watch us win by 40. And this was all a moot point. We're going to get into our win predictions here on the other side of this break. But first, of course, if you've been joining us for these lovely post-game celebrations, you see me keeping my nice neutral, real cool, real fresh.
You're so cool.
Because there is nothing better than drinking a neutral after an Arizona State victory. Listen, they're keeping it tasty in Tempe. It's a public service announcement for all hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. And not just in one flavor, not just in 2 or 3 or 4. Nah, they've got pineapple, watermelon, black cherry, orange, and more than that. It tastes so good. There's no artificial taste in it. It's just juice. It's just vodka. And it's just water. It is literally perfect. I can't say enough about it. It's literally perfect. Nothing goes better together in college football than the Neutral Vodka Seltzer. And when you come back here, Bobcat Key Bumps, he says 42-25 Texas State wins. If that happens, I will do, I don't know, I'll do something. Put something in the chat. Let's make a bet. If they win like that, by that much, 17 points, if Texas State wins by 17 points, I'll drink 17 neutrals on air. Okay.
On one show.
On one show. Well, I don't know if we have enough neutrals.
I'll get you 17 neutrals.
No, see, I can't do that. But what I can do is tell you that Neutral's keeping it tasty. You must enjoy responsible. 2024 Anheuser-Busch Neutral is flavored vodka and carbonation out of St. Louis, Missouri.
Real quick. Actually, not real quick. We'll get into what Dylan has to say here in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about our friends over at Circle K. Obviously, we are here in Studio K. Shout out our friends over at Circle K. If you need a sports drink, if you need a snack, or if you need great deals on gas, Circle K has you covered. They are America's thirst shop. And if you want to save on some of those great deals, join the Inner Circle. It's a free membership program, easy to download. Enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. After that, all you need is your phone number to get details. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Guys, join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. Hey, Espo! Back here! We need you real quick. So, I just, really fast, we have somebody named Dylan in the chat, Dylan Smith earlier, who said, who let these casuals talk ball. And so I just wanted to bring you in here since you're the person who lets these casuals talk about ball.
Yeah. I mean, I let you wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
You know.
Shout out Shady Rays.
Hey, what was his name again?
Dylan Smith, I think.
This is
Wow.
a phrase I say on the Suns. Get stuff, Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan saying sunglasses inside. He called us goofy. Oh man, there must not be anything else.
No. Don't get confused. I only get goofy after a few neutrals.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay. We start off silly and then we get goofy.
Yeah.
That's how that goes. Okay. Just
make a put it in the chat, guys. Make a bet.
Let's do it. Let's absolutely do it.
See, if you're that confident, like, you can follow one of us on Twitter. We could put actual money on this. Like, this is not something that I'm worried about.
Let's see. Yeah, no, Dylan, what's your score predict? Did he drop a score prediction in the chat at all?
Espo is not a Sun Devil, by the way.
Did he drop any score predictions in there, or is he running from it?
No, he just says only they
What's up,
like
Rhonda?
casuals.
We got Rhonda in the chat. Let's hear it. I want to see what Dylan thinks this game's going to be, and I need to know your Twitter at so I can at you as soon as it's over. Let's hear it, man. Let's hear it. I need you to drop the score prediction, man.
Last time we had an opposing fan base in our chat making bets, it was a Colorado fan. And, I can't seem to remember them reaching back out. Interestingly enough.
All right, Dylan. We expect to see you back here, man.
Okay.
Tomorrow night's postgame
it's not a
show.
week. Dude,
tomorrow
we do 5 days.
32-14, Texas State.
Bro, if that happens, dude, I'll wear Texas State gear for a month. Like, this,
there you go, Dylan.
32-14 is not happening. Also, we'll be here for postgame.
Yeah.
You can come right afterwards.
Come hop in afterwards, man.
10 minutes after the game ends. We'll be right back here. So make sure, Dylan, you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. And did this Bobcat Key Bumps just added himself?
I think he did, but he did it wrong. He's
Come on,
Bobcat
dude.
Key Bumps and he at Key Bump Bobcat. So I think, I don't know. Texas State, man. Texas
Interesting.
State. You want to get into, some goofy predictions? Since
we're
goofy, silly.
Hey, listen,
we don't know
as somebody
nothing.
who just doesn't know ball, I'm super excited.
We don't know ball. It's whatever. Let's go ahead. Let's get into.
Do you want me to go first?
You go ahead. You get silly. I'll get goofy.
All right, Kyle. It's time to show the people what's actually
We're
going to happen.
2-0, by the way.
Yeah, we are 2-0 with good predictions too. 30-17. Arizona State takes a victory here by 13 points. I think Texas State is going to have it close in the first half. I think second half Arizona State comes out, holds them scoreless, goes up to 30-17. I respect you, Texas State. I do. I respect you more than most people should. But it's just not going to happen.
I
And
hear
it's
it.
okay. You know what? In Texas State, the only games that they can watch is when they go in person because their internet connection's so
It's
bad.
probably the only game they can get on TV.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
'Cause
So
it's on
haven't
ESPN.
seen, they haven't seen ASU play the last couple of
It's
weeks.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
What about
really
you?
is. Rome in the chat, got to be 31-10 ASU. Zachary, 35-10. Arizona State wins. Drop your score predictions in the chat. Infamous Frontrunner says Vegas still has ASU -1.5. Well, they definitely need to talk to our friend in the chat because he doesn't think that that's going to be the outcome.
No.
Eric thinks Arizona State gets it done. I also think Arizona
What?
State moves to 3-0 on the season. I've got 34-24, a little bit closer than what you do have. I do think Texas State's offense is going to be able to match what Arizona State's offense does, at least through the first three quarters. However, Texas State's roster doesn't have nearly enough depth to really keep up with Arizona State in the fourth quarter. Arizona State, they're going to get a lead, and they're going to do what they do best. That is hand it to number 4. If that doesn't work, they're going to hand it to number 25. They're going to hand it to Carlos, Kyson, Alton. They've got enough running backs to really be fresh all the way through the game. So Texas State doesn't have nearly enough depth. They've got some talented players, less talented fans, apparently, in the chat. But let us know what you guys think. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. And we expect everybody to be here for the post-game party that is going to be tomorrow's post-game show. Calling it as it stands right now.
I appreciate everybody in here. Listen, Bobcat fans, you're more than welcome to come here on the post-game show tomorrow and then on Friday as well. Listen, you can be in here every single day if you want. We talk ball, right? You can disagree with us, but just remember when it's all said and done, who's going to walk away with the victory tomorrow?
Casey in the chat, 34-24 ASU. Captain Redbeard, what say you?
40-0.
ASU 38, Texas State 31.
Oh, I like it.
You're
Close game.
Zachary in the chat, Scat doesn't need to run for 250 plus. Leavitt will throw for 200 plus. Park it. Love it. I'm here.
What time? We'll be here about 10 minutes after the final whistle tomorrow on the same YouTube channel. You'll find us live. We'll have a stream up well before that. We're not going to go live during the game, but we'll be live right afterwards. And then if you don't want to come tomorrow night and you just need a second to grieve your dear Bobcat loss, you can come on Friday at 1:30. Every single day at 1:30. We are here on weekdays. So.
For Dylan and Bobcat in the chat, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a glimpse into how we're going to be starting the show tomorrow. So Kyle, if you want to go ahead and roll our favorite win music that we have, because I'm going to be honest, that's how tomorrow night's game is going to go. So again,
Just a little taste.
this is what you guys will hear tomorrow. We go ahead, roll that. Don't worry, Dylan.
We won't go live after a loss.
We'll be
Brother,
here,
we went
Dylan.
live after every game last year.
We'll be here, Dylan. Okay, I expect to see you all in the chat. Again, we appreciate everybody on today's show. We will be back tomorrow for a post-game show. If you enjoyed the content, or if you want to come troll us tomorrow, follow us at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow Long Neck Larry here at Erik Ruby. That is Erik with a K. You can follow Captain Redbeard at KCoop Sports on social media, guys. As always, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.